a woke journalist, I guess you can call it a journalist, went after Pat McAfee. He's a blogger boy. He's a blogger boy with The Athletic. His name is Devin Gordon. And listen to this. Now, normally if somebody goes after Pat McAfee, we don't get too excited about it. But this guy went all he's bad for journalism. Huh? He's bad for sports journalism. He's a threat to sports journalism. He's a clown, they said, because of his posse to sports journalism. I got to tell you, if you're going to go after somebody for all this, the guy sitting right over here still in Indy, Greg Doyle, is your perfect guy. But Greg's a liberal. We don't go after him. Pat lets Aaron Rodgers on his show, so we go after him. And that's one of the things this guy, Devin Gordon, went after Pat McAfee for. He went after Pat McAfee for the camaraderie of his crew. Well, let me explain that real quick. Pat lives right over here. He lives in a little compound with Bob Kavoyan. Now, you may not know who Bob Kavoyan is, but if I said the name Bob and Tom radio show, you would probably know. Well, Bob Kavoyan is the Bob in the Bob and Tom radio show, which has been basically the number one morning show all across the country for about 30 years now. They live right over here in the compound, and one of the things that Pat did was base his style off Bob and Tom, and that style is to have others there. Others like Chick McGee. You know, he's got Boston Connor. I mean, look, it is a style that works beautifully for Bob and Tom in the morning and Pat McAfee in the afternoon, but he does not like that. He's crying about McAfee calling out his boss, who, oh, by the way, Norby Williamson, who, oh, by the way, needed to be called out. When he calls out a lady named Stephanie Drewley or a DEI dude named Mike Roberts, now we really got a story because, well, he should. Anyway, and according to this gas bag, he had the audacity to bring Aaron Rodgers on the show. Now, this is just another example of you don't think like I think. You're doing something unusual, so we must get mad. You know, I say it all the time on this show. Our most tolerant, well, they don't seem to be tolerant. They seem to be intolerant. In fact, they seem to be angry intolerant always. Now, you and I both know if Pat McAfee did what most do, which is cater. If Pat said to Aaron Rodgers, I think your views suck, so I'm going to get rid of you and bring in a gas bag of the, well, what's the right word, liberal persuasion, then everything would be fine. He would have great camaraderie with his teammates. He would have a beautiful show that we all must watch. But McAfee doesn't. You can say anything you want about McAfee's show. But if you're criticizing it, particularly in a publication like The Atlantic, you're criticizing it because, and only because, he has Aaron Rodgers on it, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't toe the company line. That's it. And that's disgusting, isn't it? I mean, look, I get it. You are going to be criticized when you are successful. We all understand that. What do they say? The same people that build you up are right there to tear you down. And right now, McAfee's the number one star in sports media. I don't think it's even close. I mean, Barkley maybe, because we've seen Barkley basically from March through now. But then Barkley goes away until the NBA starts again in earnest in November. Okay, but McAfee is staying. McAfee is daily. McAfee doesn't stop. The cycle keeps going. McAfee takes a little bit of time off. Fine. They show SportsCenter. No biggie. So we see him year-round. Let's see a couple of the screenshots. Do we have a couple of the screenshots of what these guys are saying about Pat McAfee? Here's one. McAfee is an athlete, not a reporter. Great. And when it comes to stuff like accuracy, he's careful to set the bar very low. Whoa. He didn't set the bar. These clown reporters for the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Indy Star, the USA Today, they've never been accurate. And yes, I'm talking about the sports page in those, although I'm not sure the New York Times has one anymore. Gannett, which has the USA Today, meaning the nation's newspaper, hasn't got a story at least about me, the Indiana Pacers, Caitlin Clark, or the Indianapolis Colts correct yet. Now, those are only the stories, myself included, that I know about. I've read such garbage on there about me, it's not even true. In fact, I've had people that don't like me say I read Dan Wolken's column, and that's not true. I was there. No, I know. But that's okay. So don't talk about McAfee setting the bar. He didn't set anything. He's an entertainer. Not a setting the bar of idiots that went to J school. They set the bar. McAfee actually enhances the bar. He's become the epitome of athlete encroachment on terrain historically controlled by non-athlete journalists. And to put it mildly, the journalists are not happy about it. McAfee couldn't care less. Well, of course not. Name me an actual journalist in sports. I'll hang up and listen, caller. Name me one. I mean, I'll sit here and wait. You think Mike Freeman's a journalist, or you think Mike Freeman is a race-baiting activist? You think Greg Doyle with his creepy, "We're glad you're here, make this sign to me, will you, Caitlin?" You think that's a journalist? Really? You think Nancy Moore is a journalist? None of these people are journalists. They're activists. They're left-leaning activists. That's it. Period. Let's show another one of these screenshots from this ridiculous piece, I guess. McAfee's influence is bigger than his audience. Absolutely. His hours-long show airs during TV's midday dead zone when most sports fans are at work or school. It averages just 332 live views on its linear broadcast, according to the most recent figures from ESPN. And factoring in other platforms like ESPN's YouTube channel, TikTok, the daily audience tops out just under 900,000. A fraction of the 8-figure viewership for Monday Night Football. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, you can bitch, whine, and moan all about that all you want, but that's just a part of McAfee. That's just a little bit of a part of McAfee. McAfee makes people go to ESPN. McAfee makes people turn it on and go, "Hey, what's McAfee talking about?" McAfee, everybody I know has me on the radio and their TV on here in Indianapolis. Stop. I get it. You're trying to besmirch him. You're trying to lessen his impact, but it ain't working. But the numbers belie how much attention, there you go, he gets for the more provocative things that he said on the show, including the dingbat views of the Jets quarterback and anti-vaxxer Aaron Rodgers. Everything's dingbat or stupid. Now, all you got to do is put up a picture of Devin Gordon, and you'll know exactly who he is. You don't even have to know. I looked him up. See if you guys can find a picture of him, put it up at the end of this, and you'll know exactly. Everybody's a dingbat. Everybody must get vaccinated. Nothing is wrong with the vaccine, even though there's so much lying involved. I'm not even going to get into it because I feel hypocritical because I got the vaccine because I wanted to work. Get a vaccine, work. Don't get a vaccine, don't work. Don't work, don't get paid. Work, get paid. That's simple. I mean, I don't know. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite getting into all the vax or unvax. Airtime equals power. No one at ESPN spends more time on air than Pat McAfee. From the moment he arrived, he has been the network's most influential mouthpiece and indisputably its most polarizing. Oh, bullshit. Now that's crap. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is the most polarizing, but white guy here is too afraid to say anything about Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith will come back at you. Let's throw the next screenshot of this ridiculous piece up. Actually, it's a great piece. Actually, it's beautiful. No, it really is. I got to go get my glasses for this one. Can we make that? There we go. There we go. Look, here's the deal. Keep it coming. In a stunning moment, the kind of public airing of grievances that ESPN is renowned for not tolerating, many past ESPN talents, such as Jamel Hill, now a writer for the Outlet, really, and Bill Simmons, have been pushed out for far less. No. Understand this. Jamel Hill was pushed out because Jamel Hill's show, The 6 at 6, was awful. I mean, let's just understand that. Bill Simmons was pushed out because his appearance on the NBA Countdown show was awful. You can say whatever you like. I worked there for 10 years. You have to have a certain amount of talent, or else they will put you away. They will lessen you. And if you have a big money deal at that time, when those two were asked to leave and they were making cuts, they'll just cut you. So understand that. That has nothing to do with what those folks did. They were bad on TV in the slots that they were on. You could have used Simmons differently. You could have used Hill differently, and they would have been okay. But Jamel Hill hosting a 6 o'clock Sports Center was not going to work out because she was bad at her job. Hey, can you pump that up so I'll read the rest here because I can't see that good. I can't see no goods. No suspension, no public rep. Oh, wait a second. And yet McAfee suffered no consequences, no suspension, no public reprimand. 3 months later, Williamson was fired. Well, yeah. You ever think that your political views, this guy Devin Carter, are so whacked out that when the truth is actually said and consequences of the truth actually happen, the guy telling the truth was actually right? I mean, why is the truth, according to liberals, so put under a cloud of disdain? McAfee told the truth. Norby had always been the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings with the media. McAfee called him out. Williamson got fired. That's the truth. But the truth doesn't matter to Devin Gordon and others. And Devin ought to be happy, man. We're pubbing. This is the hottest show in the morning right now. And we're giving him pub like he's never had. All right, make that bigger again so I can see it, please. All right. That's really funny, actually. If any doubt remained about who had the power at ESPN, the suits or the dumb punter, boy, I tell you what, this is an example, dumb punter, of a guy just being jealous. I'm a journalist. You're an athlete, so you're dumb. I know, Pat. I got to tell you, he's a lot of things, but he ain't dumb. Not even a little bit. But I get it. That's your jealousy of a guy who has it all. And your little, I guess, media guy. It vanished with Williamson. McAfee could seemingly get away with anything and then boast about it public. Before Williamson got guillotined, McAfee bristled during his appearance on all the smoke as the notion that he'd gone after one of his bosses. I'm like, I don't get a effing boss. What are we? Like, we talking about Patero? We talking about Iger? Is that who we're talking about? Because those are people who could technically be described as my boss. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. But people hate it. The dumb punter, smarter than anybody. The dumb punter, smarter than anybody in the history of broadcast. He brought his own show. Did you know this? McAfee's setup, which is there, I guess, in the Thunderdome, has better equipment than ESPN. In fact, when ESPN came in to do his show, they brought a guy in. And McAfee's dad told me this. He's the head of their equipment. He goes, Dan, our stuff was so much better than theirs. McAfee's a lot of things, folks, but he's not dumb. He's brilliant. He's a freaking genius. I've come to realize he and I have beefed before. I called him just a punter, and he was smart. He said, Dan, it's just an all-pro punter. He's brilliant. I love the guy. Make that thing bigger again so I can talk more. Anyway, no relationship, though, better crystallizes the growing enmity between McAfee and ESPN's news division than his continued indulgence of his good friend, the New York Jets quarterback, defiant anti-vaxxer, whatever that word is, and for a brief moment, Robert F. Kennedy's rumor running mate, Aaron Rodgers. So what? But let's see if I understand this. So a guy hosting a show, a sports show, whatever you want to call his show, on ESPN, has the biggest star in football, the most talked about man in football, on his show weekly. And this idiot thinks that's a bad thing because the guy has views politically that are different than this idiot. That'd be like a political show getting Donald Trump every week. You imagine the ratings on that? You imagine if one of these shows, you name a show, doesn't matter. NBC, CBS, Fox, doesn't matter. Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, doesn't matter. Getting Donald Trump every week. Every week. Or let's go lesser. Getting Barack Obama every week to do an appearance on the show. But right now, the hottest guy would be Donald Trump. The hottest guy in football isn't Patrick Mahomes, although he's the best. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's really funny to me. You know, athletes have fought this for a long time. It was one of the beauties of playing basketball at Indiana. You were never called a dumb jock because Bob Knight, everybody knew, made you go to class. That's always the thing. Every journalist, quote, in Indianapolis has hated me from the get-go because I host the most popular radio show and I don't kiss their ass. It's the way it is. I don't want them on my show. I don't need them on my show, so they write bad things about my show and me. It's timeless. Pat Mac, you keep doing your thing. And clowns like Devin Gordon can keep doing their thing. And Devin, we just got you another 100 readers. God bless you, son.